Well, let's talk about the 40-man roster. You sent me. You don't send me many emails, but you sent me one the other day. And it was this like beautifully designed, color coordinated, coded spreadsheet. And I was like, who did Jeremy pay to put this together? That was great. But you brought up something interesting, so I just want to put a quarter in you and have you go. The Twins are going to be in an interesting 40-man situation next year. And so, yeah, I think it's just worthwhile putting some names on folks' radars as like who are some guys they have to at least consider adding to the 40-man and kind of having that initial conversation of like who might they add, who might they risk getting taken in the Rule 5 draft.
Right. So typically you have your free agents leave, that frees up a handful of spots for your 40-man. Having traded all of them except for Vasquez, they're not going to have a ton of free agents, right? They right now have Pablo Lopez on the 60-day, a full 40-man, so they'll have to activate him. There's always some fat you can trim around the edges. So
Yep.
The Brooks Kriskis of the world, the Erasmo Ramirez's of the world, like they're going to make spots on their 40-man, but they acquired a bunch of minor league guys. And the time kind of resets on them. It's like, so I was just looking at the list. I actually started that spreadsheet that I shared with you probably at least 6 or 7 years ago.
Good
and
Lord.
then I would update it. I used to update it every day. And then it was like once a week. And then I hadn't updated it until after the trade deadline. I had to add a lot of players. But just looking at some names here, when you get into AAA, most of those guys are either already eligible, haven't been, weren't drafted, or they're on option years. So the only guy really on that team is Gabby Gonzalez, and I think he's a must add at this point in 2025. Aaron Sabato probably would be more likely to get like added during the season and then not stick on the 40-man because they just don't have a first baseman. But I think like Gabby Gonzalez, you definitely have to add. Pitching wise, I think John Klein, who just got promoted to AAA, makes sense. I think Andrew Morris probably has to get added. Kendry Rojas has to get added. Corey Lewis is maybe a maybe. But right there, you look at the AAA roster, and there's 4, maybe 5 guys, and that doesn't include anybody that's currently eligible, although I don't think anybody really makes sense there.
What about Kyler Fedko? What do you think about Fedko? Is he available too?
So I'm sorry to put that on you. Yeah, he was draft eligible last year and didn't get picked.
Okay. I mean, which makes sense because last year he just didn't perform that well in AA, and this year he's had like 20 bombs.
Right. And so that might be more of a thing like where they have to essentially choose between like, okay, do we add Fedko and outright McCusker?
Mm-hmm.
Or do we risk losing Fedko in the Rule 5 draft and keep McCusker, right? Like that those might be behind the scenes conversations that you just don't know. Yep. But then moving down the list, other 25 guys, Mendez would be a 2025 ad, and Prelip will be a definite ad. So now we're at what, 6? Walker Jenkins is until 2027, and then
CJ Culpepper.
What's that?
CJ Culpepper.
CJ Culpepper's 2025. I think he's someone that you at least have to consider. And then I want to say Jose Olivares.
Yep.
I can't find him right now, but I want to say he's 2025.
He is.
And
Danny DeAndrade.
DeAndrade's 25. And then did I see that I haven't – Bojorquez is later. So, I mean, there's just a lot of dudes that probably require being added. And I think you can make a case that some of those guys wouldn't be drafted. Like Mendez probably doesn't get drafted. But if you trade a guy and then you hype up the return and then don't add him, like that doesn't look great especially if they get taken. So the John Kleins of the world, I think John Klein's been an excellent starter over the course of his career so far. But John Klein,
did you see how his debut went today in St. Paul?
No, I didn't. How'd it go? Wasn't that great?
I think he got through 2/3 of an inning, gave up 6 hits, 5 earned runs, and it was a rough start. However, onwards to bigger and better things.
Yeah. So I mean, you're gonna have that when you jump leagues,
For
but
sure.
he's been so good since he
So
signed
good.
as a non-drafted free agent in August of 22. But some of these guys that start all the way up, they're going to be relievers, and like if you could find guys like that, I think that would be huge. So there's going to be a roster crunch of sorts. It's not going to be this dire thing where it's like I think Tampa Bay and New York both kind of went through it in the last handful of years where they're like, shoot, we got to trade guys
Yep.
because we're going to have to, there's 46 guys for 40 spots, and we just have to move some of these dudes. And I
Yep.
don't think it'll be like that for the Twins. I think it'll be like we have 6 spots and we have 9 guys that we'd like to add. We can't add them all.
Yep.
That sort of deal. And that's before you add any free agents, which it wouldn't shock me if we went through an offseason and didn't see any really moves made at all free agent wise. So,
Yep.
but yeah, it does add a lot of intrigue just to the whole offseason.